welcome back to Nugget Garage. I haven't been on for a couple of weeks there, mainly due to having the usual story, heaps on, and we've been trying to get this K10 ready for Sydney Jamboree, which is 2 weekends from now. So we've had the engine out, pulled it all down, figured out mainly firstly what I hurt at that QDRC meet when it leaned out a little bit, and we also figured out what that aluminium powder that kept ending up in the filter ended up being rod side clearance. So I've opened that up a little bit. The bearings, rings, everything are back in there. Rods have been checked. They're all to spec. The cylinder head, obviously I've got cylinder 4 pretty hot. So it had 2 bent valves and damaged valve seats. Had 86% leakage when it ran that 8.0, that last one. So we've sent the head to KRE and they've gone and put, I think they're called Durabond Diamond valve seats in it. I think they're an LPG valve seat, which the guys down there, Luke I think his name is, reckons that they're actually getting better results out of them than the beryllium seats that they used to use in the supercars. So with a bit of luck, if I accidentally get them that hot again, it might not be an engine out deal. This actually started up and ran yesterday. Unfortunately, I do have to pull this back off because there seems to be 2 injectors that aren't working now, even though I've cleaned them and flowed them. So maybe we've pinched a wire or a wire's backed out of a plug or something. And when I was testing sequencing, I noticed on one cylinder there I've got 2 injectors in different spots to the rest. Doesn't really matter, but it matters in my head. So this week, the main goal is to get this thing finished, butted up on the dyno, and we may as well see what it actually makes. We ended up upgrading the valve springs as well. It only had 70-pound valve springs in it at installed height, so it's now got 108s. Interestingly, we found about 3 different sets of Supertechs in Australia that were actually labelled as 108 that tested at 70. So Golby got me a fresh batch and they were actually 108. So don't know how I was rating it to 10,000 without valve float. Maybe I was having valve float issues because that last 7 pounds of boost went no quicker. So yeah, so we'll get it down to Sydney. We're going to make a 4-day weekend out of it. We're actually going to stay in some hotels, go out for dinner, do something other than work for a weekend, which should be nice. So if you're down there, come up and say get out the track. As for Nugget Garage content, because I'm slightly lunatic, I figured that the main reason why I'm struggling to make a video on the projects at the moment is the projects that I have are very, very time consuming. Every part on them is custom. The KE20, for example, I want that to be the last version of itself, so everything has to be perfect and the best of what I can do. And a 15-minute video that you see might take me a week's worth of fabrication, and that's just taking me months to get together. So what I figured I'd do is buy another car, which is totally logical. So I've got all these parts turning up already. Fuel tank shifters, intercoolers, dyno fans. Golby's given me a stall converter that says 3500 on it. So I'm assuming there's a box here of JZ gaskets, fuel rails, studs, wastegates. So basically what I'm going to do is something that I know I've done a million times before. I'm going to build a JZ car again. I've got an engine over there. It's got max speeding rods in it, upgraded rod bolts, CP pistons, 1J head off Arthur's car. It's got billet cams, valve springs. We have an old school T51R that used to make about 800 ruble on my Supra when it had the 1.5J in it. So we may use that. Or I've been thinking about doing something different and actually using a small turbo like a 351050 or maybe a new G40 1150. I just got to figure out what my budget can handle. We've got a 6-boost manifold coming for it. What else is over there? Henry and Nick, they're building me an A340, so this car is going to be a Toyota car. It's going to have a Toyota engine, box and diff, so it can go race with Golby. It's going to be a 225 car, no roll cage. And just for extra fun, Will Yarwood from Project X and Michael McLean from Absolute Automotive, they've decided to also piece together a car for this drag challenge that's coming up. I know I said I was going to take the 20, then I was going to take the 10. Well, now I'm going to take another car. I'm going to try and build from scratch. Pretty sure I can do this in 4 weekends and make 4 or 5 videos out of it, and try and get back into the flow of actually getting projects in and out and getting videos out to you guys. Another thing that's changed is, on the way to work this morning, I didn't have to run the air conditioner, and I'm not sweating like a pig, and the shop is not hot. So if that trend stays, then I'll be motivated to come down here early in the morning and start pumping out some work. Alright, so the car that I'm going to use is, funnily enough, another Corolla, but a bit later than the ones I normally use. So it's an AE71 Corolla. It's going to rock the stuff plates. Now, stay with me, this is easier than what you think it is. The interior in it, I'm just going to leave stock. It's all actually just needs a clean, but the body on it, I mean, it has little blemishes here and there, but overall, not bad. It has a little bit of a drifty boy set up on the front here with S13 coilovers, S13 suspension, S13 brakes. Has 15-inch 5-stud steel wheels on it. The guy who sold this to me, Joel, he's got the right wheels for the back. That fit a 225 under that guard. The diff under there is actually a Hilux diff. Has a 3.9 LSD center in it. I'm not going to put a roll cage in this thing, it's just going to be a road car. And the main reason why I'm not an idiot is this car already had a JZ in it. So the firewall's already been massaged, it already has mounts, it already has a gearbox cross member. Obviously it came with a spare 1J and an A340. Joel already had this thing running. Has a radiator in it. The intercooler is a little bit light on for what I want to do, so I've got a 100mm one. Has an S13 master booster and all new brake lines. Yeah. I had plenty of people come to the party to help me out with parts on this. Golby's RCE Advanced Automotive on the North Coast. Henry and Nick are building me a box, and my mate Kip, obviously he's going to build my motor again. Well, the engine's already been machined, checked, it's been like that for years, I just haven't assembled it, but he'll assemble it for me, we'll video that, make that into something you can watch. So the main goal this week is to get that K10 together and on the dyno, so I'll cut to a dyno video now, hopefully. Alright, so it's 7 o'clock in the morning, we've got the 10 on the dyno. Check the oil, put some fuel in it. We're just doing, well, I just did a firmware update on the Nexus. I started buzzing out these injectors yesterday morning to try and figure out what was going on, and I ended up finding out that they were all in a pattern backwards. So turns out you can actually squeeze together a 14-pin Deutsch plug upside down, which is why I had 2 cylinders out, because I was using 12 pins. Anyway, run this thing up and see what comes out. Well, there you go. That's 8,056 revs. And it revs to 10,000, so I'm guessing it's making way more power now than what it was before, because unfortunately we had to stop due to the fuel pressure falling away. This only has a 7-gallon pump on it, so I can borrow or buy a 13-gallon pump off Kip, so that's what I'm going to have to do during the week. That was 57 pounds of boost, so I could turn it down, but I don't like being that close to how much the pump can supply. Obviously that was a short pull. The EGT only got to 1270, so no damage was done, but those valve springs must have been holding this thing back pretty bad. I did find that my radials are also got canvas hanging out of them, so I'll have to change that for Sydney, try and get a bigger pump on it for Sydney. Anyway, if I get it done this week, I'll put it on the dyno again and we'll run it 3 and through and see how far that actually goes. Alright, see you on the next one.